AP Computer Science A. This is P5A office hours. You should have tried the project yourself already. We did a little video before, just kind of talking about what we're trying to do, writing some notes on our note sheet. This is a shared folder where you can find a blank version of that note sheet to print out for yourself. To take notes on, we're going to be adding to that over multiple days, building ideas. Okay, this is your assignment. So you should have done P5A. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go through it right now, kind of run through it quickly. It was review. Really nothing new, even bringing in some old classes from last semester. So I'm going to open up BlueJ, and I'm going to create a new project. Takes a second. Now, in my computer science folder, I want to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Unit 5. Do that first, and then inside of here is where I'm going to create my project. I'm going to call it P5A project. Okay. Now in here, we need to, so here we go. We want to, all right, I'm going to do a new class. So we're supposed to do the My Phone class, My Phone, and there it is. Let's go open it up, get rid of all this stuff. And I'm just going to type everything from scratch, just kind of go through. This is just a good review of what we did last year. So public class, oops, My Phone, and going to have private instance variables. You got to call them private. We note them now on UML diagrams with a little minus in front, negative in front. Double price, and we're just declaring them right now. We're not initializing them. That happens in the constructor. Public int memory. I'm sorry, private boolean is in stock, and all three of your classes should have these things in common. I guess if you really want, you could copy and paste them. Public, then you need a constructor, My Phone, and this one's going to be 0arg. Now let's go and use something that I started talking about at the end of first semester. Instead of we could do like this. We could do this dot price, and that means the private variable price of this class. And this will become more apparent in the next constructor. Usually if it's a double, we put 0.0. Like if you put 0, it's going to do the same thing, but that's because Java is changing your int into a double. If it ever prints it out 0 as a double, it's going to be 0.0. So it's more appropriate to say 0.0. Remember, is an int, so I'm just going to put 0. And is in stock. We'll set as false by default. Seems like good string value. And then I have like color. You could say null. It was oh, I didn't even add that up there at the top yet. So it has to have a unique private instance variable. Color equal, oh, okay. So it's going to be a string, capital S, object. And then usually objects, by default, we'll set them as null. Comment our ending curly braces and 0 arg constructor, or they often call it the default constructor. Okay, public my phone. And so we're going to say double, and I'm going to just use the same names. Price, int memory, boolean is in stock, and string color. And so in here, we're going to initialize them. And this is where the this dot makes sense. This dot price equals price. So this communicates, okay, this is the price that's up at the top variable, whereas this price is this one. We can give them different names, but which kind of makes it clear, but we could also just give them the same name, but then you should use this format. All right, this dot memory equals memory. This dot is in stock equals is in stock. And this dot color equals color. And multi, well, you could just say multi-arg, or we could say for arg. So, I don't know. For arg constructor. Faster. Okay, now we don't need to put the getters in here yet unless we think later we need them. So public. Now it needs a method that doesn't return anything. Public void ship item, and it is 0 arg. Doesn't take any arguments. And I explained in the previous video, and you could also see in the example, that it's just going to print a message out. Now it needs to check if this item is in stock or not. So if is in stock, now you could say equals true, but you don't have to do that because is in stock is a boolean. So you could just say, this is kind of the simple way of doing it. This is kind of a cool thing to do with variables that are booleans, just say if is in stock, because then it's either true or not true. And if it's in stock, we wanted to go ahead and print out a message. System.out.println println your item has been shipped. I want it to be exactly like this. This is what the example should. Okay. Then we can do an else, and then that means it wasn't in stock. And we want to say system.out.println your item is currently out of stock. It will ship when it is back in stock. Now, this is a really long thing, so you could always, I don't know, you could always just press enter down to the next line. Okay, so let's close this. And else is going to be and if, and then that will end method ship item. So that was one of the, and then all three of our classes are going to have that. And then public string, toString. So this is a toString. We don't actually print in the toString. We create a string. It's zero-arg method. And we just create a nice version of the object. So we're going to say, we could just say turn. And if you look at the example, I want the example to match. I want yours to match the example. Phone statistics. And then there's a new line. You could just do that. That would give you the new line. Plus, I'm just putting it down here to make it easier. I might even line it up. Okay. Price. We could even put a $sign here plus this dot price, or you can just put price, but this dot thing is going to come back later. Methods, and then tab, because I'm basing it off of what the example is. It's all on one line. I'm doing it like this so we can see it all. Memory and this dot memory. In stock. This is called concatenation when you add values of different kinds of variables to other strings and it makes a bigger string. Is in stock. And the last one for us, for me, or whatever, you guys could do something else, is color. And that's it. And we could just return it all at once. I mean, unless we're going through like a for loop or something, then we'll probably make the toString a little more. Probably create a variable to store it. End method toString. And we need to end our class. End class phone. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the other ones because it's going to be pretty identical, those, but we could jump to the driver. And so, let's see, I'm going to close that. Okay, my kind of slow. Okay, there we go. All right, now hopefully it doesn't close. Okay, now compile. Seems like they're saying there's something wrong with it. I don't know if it's because it's says, oh, I accidentally put a semicolon there. Or a colon instead of a semicolon. Okay. Will it compile now? Okay. Okay. So you need to create your other classes. My computer and I did a robot. You can do whatever you want. And then you need to create a driver where you're going to create these things in it. So new class. I'm going to call it device driver. And in here, get rid of all this. So you do public class device driver. And in here, we need to have a main method, public static void main string args. Let me go ahead and end method main and end class device driver. Okay, we are going to be dealing with array lists. So I'm going to say we have to import java.util.array lists. And in here, we need to go through and create one of each of our objects. So it's my computer, my phone. So my phone. I'm going to call it phone 1 equals new my phone 0arg constructor, and then my phone 2 should have a space between it. I'm going to do my new my phone, and then I'm going to use the multiplier. So I'm going to say the cost is, I don't know, $8.99. Memory is in stock. Probably should make it in stock if you're going to create it, right? I don't know. And then silver. So you're going to do that for each of your, my computer 1 equals new my computer and I'm not gonna do all this, but I'm just gonna kind of start filling in. You got to create all these. So okay, you have all those, and then you were told to print them all out. And if you look at the example of what I want to print it out, then you would do it this way. So I wanted to match what the output had, println, and you had like, I don't know, 10 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This message printing individual devices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And so we're just going to print them all out. And this is going to test your constructor, see if they did what they were supposed to, your toString. So you're going to say phone 1. Phone 2. So you're going to do that. I'm not going to type all that. And then it said that you were supposed to create a shopping cart that could hold three My Computer objects, an array. So we need to create arrays. So you guys should remember how to create arrays. You have to put the type of thing that it's going to be inside, and then these brackets, and then give it a name. They said to call it shopping cart. And a new My Computer array, and then you put the size inside here. And then the way you put things in there is you call the name shopping cart and use the brackets and put the object in. So we're going to say computer 1 and shopping cart spot 1 equals computer 2. And then they said leave the third one empty. And then they said to use a for each loop to go through the array, call each of the objects toString and ship item. And we'll leave the third element of the array. Okay, so let's put an extra line, just an extra blank line between what we had before. I don't want it all like right up next to each other. And then there's supposed to be a message here. If you look at the example, it said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Printing shopping cart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we should put a semicolon. So that's just titling what we're going to have, and then we're going to do a for each loop. So for each loop, you just do for. You put the type of objects that are in the array or array list. You give it a temporary variable name, usually something reflective of the types of things in there, like computers. And then you put the name of the array or array list. It works identical for arrays and array lists. Okay, and what it does is makes a copy of each thing in the shopping cart that are My Computer objects and copies it in temporary variable C. Now, we potentially have nulls in here. So I'm going to say if C is not equal to null, check it. Otherwise, we can get a null exception, null pointer exception. And then I would say system.out.println. This will call the toString without actually writing .toString, which is what we do now. And then we could do c.ship item prints its own message, right? Now I want a new blank line between this one and the next one, so I'm going to do system.out.println, just an extra blank line in there, and end in the if it's null, then I'm just not going to do anything. I don't need to put an else for that. I'm not going to do anything. End for each. So that's how we do for each loops. And then you are also supposed to create an array. So it's a little bit of review. The way we create an array list, is you put that, and then you put what type of objects are in it. And I have my robots. You have whatever you have. We called it wish list equals new array list. And so you put the type of objects that will be inside of it, inside these sharp braces, and then you put empty parentheses afterwards. So that's using the constructor from ArrayList class. And then the way we add things to these is we say .add. And so I'll say robot1 Now this isn't going to compile for me because I don't have all this other stuff done yet. Okay, so I add those, and then we're going to do another for each loop. We're going to pretty much do the same thing that we did last time. Now we need to put like a little title. I want it to look exactly like that. That example in the assignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a little, just a little extra header, and then a for each loop. So the type of objects are my robot objects. I'm going to call it R for robot, the temporary variable, and then it is called wish list, the name of the array list. And inside here we do system.out. And then the way we say r dot a ship item, and that'll print it out, and then add the extra system.out.println. Just give it a little bump it down extra line. And for each, oh, I guess I should have done the null check thing. Oh, well, the null thing we didn't need to do for the array list because they're not going to be null. They're not going to exist. And okay, I don't think I need that end. All right. So the other thing you're supposed to do, it says, is to go ahead and try and add, and then you can uncomment these afterwards because they're going to cause an error. So after you do this, you're supposed to try and add a phone to your shopping cart, to the third spot. Actually, it's 2. It starts at 0. So we're going to add a phone, that, and then to the wish list, we were going to try and add a computer. So this is what you're going to do, and then you after you run it, you comment it out. But what's going to happen is you're going to get an error that's saying that you can't put these objects in. Shopping cart is supposed to hold computers, right? And so if you try and put a phone in it, it won't accept it. And wish list is supposed to hold my robots from me. And so if I try and put a computer in it, it won't allow that. So that's kind of an interesting issue. And we're going to find a way to work around that, because it might be nice to be able to hold different kinds of objects in the same array list. Like if you're trying to, it might be nice. So anyways, finish up that assignment and we'll check it off, and that's it.